Welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Andrea if you're new here, and I make vegan baking videos, so be sure to hit that subscribe button for more videos in the future. Today's recipe is going to be vegan donuts, which are also gluten-free. So I'm actually making the donut recipe by Kelly's Bakeshoppe, and it's included in their Made with Love cookbook. So I'm actually going to be modifying the recipe quite a bit. So I'm going to list the ingredients that I end up using below in the description box. So just follow that for following this recipe. Now, there are a few things that you absolutely need to have before making donuts. So we are making baked donuts, not deep fried. So we're going to be using a donut pan like this one. I've already gone ahead and greased it with coconut oil, so that's ready to go. And something that really helps with filling the batter into this donut pan is a piping bag. So you're gonna wanna get one of those. I'm using a 20 millimeter round pastry tip, and that's just gonna help us pipe the batter in so that we get a nice even round donut. And lastly, something that you'll need or that'll help for this recipe is a stand-up mixer like this one. And we're gonna fit it with a paddle attachment, or you could also use an electric mixer, the handheld kind. All right, the oven has to be preheated to 350 degrees, and I'm gonna get started with prepping our ingredients. The first thing that we're going to prepare is our coconut yogurt and lemon juice mixture. I have 1 cup of coconut yogurt here. My absolute favorite brand to use is the President's Choice cultured coconut milk yogurt alternative in the plain flavor. And then I'm going to just measure out half a tablespoon of my lemon juice. Just gonna strain this first and remove any seeds. And then all we're gonna do is just mix this together and set it aside. So just mix it thoroughly, and then we're gonna let that sit. And this is going to give our donuts a lot of nice moisture and just make them taste really good. So that's done. Next, I'm going to combine some arrowroot starch with cold coconut milk. I like to use this one, it's unsweetened coconut milk by Silk. And I'm just going to whisk that together until it is completely blended and that there are no more little lumps in there and it's nice and smooth. That looks good. And then we're just gonna set this aside as well. Now it's on to the dry ingredients. So I already have in here my gluten-free all-purpose flour. I like to use this one by Bob's Red Mill. I also have my baking soda, baking powder, salt, and also xanthan gum. So this is what it looks like. It's just a white powder, and it's a very small amount of it, but because we are using a gluten-free flour, we're not gonna have that elasticity that gluten provides. So instead we add xanthan gum, and it just gives us that elasticity, and it almost gives the donuts a little bit of a chewiness. So it's a good thing. I'm just whisking this together. I did not sift it because it didn't look lumpy to me. And if you're gonna whisk it, then you don't really have to. And we're gonna now set this one aside as well. I went ahead and pre-measured my coconut oil. So it's in my big mixing bowl for my stand-in mixer, ready to go. And this is the coconut oil that I like to buy. I use a lot of it. I use it for cooking every day and for my baking. So I get this one from Costco. It's really good value and it's refined. So that means it does not have that coconut flavor. So it has many applications because it doesn't just taste like coconut. So that's amazing. And all I'm gonna do is we're going to put this in the stand mixer and beat it for a couple minutes until it's just a little bit looser and fluffier. And then we can add our sugar and vanilla. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And we are now going to add our sugar and vanilla. I'm just going to scrape down the sides of my bowl a little bit before we add those things. And the coconut oil is really nice. I'm going to try to show you. It's really nice in texture now. It's a lot lighter and fluffier, just like we wanted. Okay, so I'm going to be adding my sugar, and I'm using a plant-based sweetener, but you can also use coconut sugar or just regular white granulated sugar. So we're going to throw that in there. And then I'm actually just going to throw in a splash of vanilla. I very rarely measure my vanilla. I feel like you can never have too much vanilla. So we're just going to splash that in there. And then let this mix for another minute or so until everything is combined and fluffy. So this is what it's going to look like now. As you can see, it's nice and fluffy. And now I'm just going to add in my arrowroot and coconut milk mixture to my sugar and coconut oil mixture. I'm just stopping to scrape down the sides of the bowl because it tends to kind of go up the sides. And I want to make sure everything is nice and evenly mixed. Okay, so we are now ready to add our dry ingredients and our coconut yogurt and lemon juice mixture from the beginning. So I'm just going to be adding them in parts. So I'll start off with my dry, add some of the coconut yogurt, do another round of dry, coconut yogurt, and finish with the dry. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so our mixture is done, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So as you can see, it's nice and stretchy. It's a beautiful batter. So let's get ready to pipe our donuts. So I've got my beautiful batter here. I just scraped down the sides of my bowl, and I'm ready to fill my pastry bag. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna fold it, unfold it, I should say. Just like so, and I'm just holding the pastry bag like I would a mug or a cup underneath in my hand. So once I start filling it with the batter, it gives it a nice edge so that I can clean off my spatula as I fill. Just like so. So I'm just gonna put about half of the batter in here for now. You never want to fill your piping bag up too much because then it's just going to be too much to handle and you'll have to apply so much pressure to squeeze out your batter. That looks good for now. Then you just unfold the bag up, back up, and twist it around the base like so. And then you're just going to, with one hand, let the dough squeeze out. Okay. We are ready to go. This is my favorite part. I love using piping bags. So I'm just going to start off by squeezing the dough around like so. And I'm going to be generous. And you just want to constantly apply pressure with this hand that I'm holding the bag with. This hand is just guiding the pastry tip around so that you fill the mold completely nicely. So this is our filled donut cake pan. And if you notice that there are any kind of little gaps or air pockets, just dip your finger in some cold water and you'll be able to smooth it out without the batter sticking to your finger. So these are ready to go into the oven, again at 350 degrees. And they should bake in about 16 to 18 minutes, but we're just gonna watch them and we're gonna rotate them halfway to ensure a nice even bake. While our donuts are baking in the oven, you can prepare the chocolate glaze. I've already done so. And this is my personal recipe. It is super, super easy to make. I think it's like the best chocolate glaze or ganache that you could ever need for your baking needs, and it's vegan. So what I do is I just chop up some dark chocolate. This time I used 85%, and then you can just simply melt it in the microwave. And actually I also added in the coconut oil with the chocolate to melt. And then once it's all melted, you just give it a really good stir so it's nicely combined. And then you can just add in your maple syrup at the end, stir it, and then eventually it'll start setting up. I want to show you guys this because it's so good. And it's just such a nice smooth texture. It's super shiny and it's just super easy to make. So that's what we're going to use for our chocolate dip later. Okay, it smells really, really good in here, and I think our donuts are done. Yes, they are. Look at that. They rose a little bit, which is really nice, and they have a slight golden brown finish to them. And we're just going to now let these cool. I'm gonna leave them in the pan to cool for probably about 10 minutes or so, and then I'll pop them out and let them completely cool so that we can then dip them. Okay, the moment we've finally been waiting for, we can finally dip these donuts into chocolate and get them nice and decorated so that we can eat them. All right, so I actually just heated up my chocolate glaze in the microwave for just 15 seconds to get it a little bit more liquidy, so that dipping is a little easier. And I'm gonna be pouring it into this shallow bowl. And you wanna use a nice wide, shallow bowl, nothing with high edges, because you're not gonna be able to dip your donut very easily into it. Okay, that looks good. I'll just set this aside. And I'll just spread it out. Okay, so we're ready to do this. You're just gonna take your donut and dip it into the chocolate like so. Shake off any excess. And there we have it. And as an ode to Kelly's Bakeshoppe, I'm using pink and white sprinkles because those are their colors, and I happen to love pink as well. Doesn't that look pretty? So we're just gonna keep dipping these ones. There you have it. We made vegan, gluten-free donuts. They're so pretty, super, super delicious and easy to make. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.